right, so we all remember the good times with Jonathan Simmons, but this is just kind of sad. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you've been keeping up with him at all after these trades, after any player is released, he instantly goes to Twitter and says, "Hey, I'm available. Look at me." And this is getting desperate, and it's getting sad at this point, and I just want to talk about it.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so Jonathan Simmons is continuously responding every time basically there's any type of NBA news because he wants to be signed back in the NBA, and he is making that well known. As some players leave the NBA, play overseas, and are pretty content with that, making decent money and everything, he is not. He is ready to come back to the NBA, and he is letting it be known to anybody out there that is listening. So as we can see here, not too long ago, the San Antonio Spurs released Stanley Johnson, and you can see Jonathan Simmons responding to Shams and saying, "Sims, free agent." And he's done this quite a few times now. So let me go ahead and give you my thoughts on Jonathan Simmons, okay? Because there's quite a few Spurs fans that got excited about this, saying, yes, Clan, we need to bring him back. This is going to be so awesome. And don't get me wrong, okay? It is. It would be awesome. But at the same time, I think two things are going on. Number one, you're stuck in 2017, okay? And number two, you got a little bit of revisionist history. So I definitely want to talk about it. So let's dive into it. So first and foremost, just statistic wise, he was nothing to really get super excited about when he was with the Spurs. But with that being said, even though, he only averaged 6 points per game with us, I will say this in all honesty, and I said this before, in that Western Conference Finals when, I almost said LeBron, Kawhi Leonard got hurt, he was the one that stepped up. He played hard. And even though statistically no one really just blew the Warriors out of the water or anything like that, there was nothing to get super excited about, I will say that he was one of the few players that I thought stepped up and played fairly hard. And as you guys know, Spurs players get really excited by players that bring that type of energy. It was the same thing with Deadman. It was the same thing with Jonathan Simmons. It happens every single time. But with that being said, I will say this. I think his playing style, at least when he was with the Spurs, it was, and I don't want to say anything's predetermined, okay, but it felt as if he was destined to be out of the league, because even his 3-point percentage, he was never a 3-point shooter, okay? It was pretty poor with us. Now, don't get me wrong, his first year when he was averaging about 15 minutes per game, it wasn't bad by any means. 38% is really good, but then that second year went all the way down to 29%. You never want to be under 30%. And as you can see here, it kind of fluctuated. Went back up when he was with the 76ers, but not too long after that, they let him go. So him at that shooting guard position wasn't the best. When he got moved to small forward, it was pretty decent. But yeah, he was out of the league. So how is he playing right now? So I just brought that up just to say, yes, you have revisionist history, and we need to look at who he is right now as a player, okay? Now, when you think back on Jonathan Simmons, what stands out is the amazing dunks, because I will say this. This might be a hot take. I don't know, cold take, medium. I have no idea what kind of take this is, but I'm going to say this. Jonathan Simmons has my favorite regular season dunk in San Antonio Spurs history, okay? I think when I bring up great dunks, you think of Manu Ginobili, obviously, because contextually it was awesome. You might think of Kawhi Leonard or Mike Miller, because that was just nasty. Oh my goodness. But I do think about Jonathan Simmons. He was just phenomenal when it came to his athletic ability. And I don't know if you guys recall, but it was this game in particular in which he just bammed on the Trailblazers. The cockback, it looked like a Harlem Globetrotters rehearsed dunk. It was just so nasty. Now, don't get me wrong, no one talks about this one because we lost the game, but man, this was such a sick dunk. It came out of nowhere, and then he just landed it, and it was just so nasty. Okay, this is one of my favorite dunks, if not my favorite Spurs dunk, at least regular season dunk, that is. So yeah, this is what you remember, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, okay? I did look at some of the stats for him overseas, and it's not great. Now, don't get me wrong, 18 minutes per game and 17 points per game, that's phenomenal. I'm not super familiar with the way in which they play basketball overseas, and you know what stats would mean more there. But I am gonna say this: there's nothing here where I get super excited about. But this is about what you would expect, at least from an NBA player. But I did go back. Okay, I went back and I watched some of the highlights from him overseas, and I'm gonna tell you guys this right off the bat. Okay, this Jonathan Simmons is gone. He is no longer there. That leaping ability is not there. He's a bit slower. He looks a little bit more heavy set, but that might just be me. But he is not this player that you expected. So one of his best qualities was his athleticism. That's what kept him in the game, how hard he played, and his athleticism. And the fact that he doesn't have that, that's just not a good look. Okay. It's just not the same. So when you're thinking about bringing him back, I understand it would be fun. I would love it too. He goes to San Antonio. Yay, we have a party. You know, we remember Jonathan Simmons or whatever. Fans will welcome him back. But I just don't really see a place for him in this roster right now. I mean, even looking at the team, I mean, who would I give up? Maybe KBD and bring him in. But I think even KBD has more usage right now than Jonathan Simmons would. So, and I hate to say that because I really do like Jonathan Simmons, and I really do hope that he can find a home in the NBA again. But I just don't know. I just have no idea. And once again, you know, just bringing this up, as you can see, and when I was talking about playoffs, he did show up, I thought, in the Western Conference Finals, and he got more playing time, and he averaged 10.5 points per game. So not bad whatsoever. That's young Manu Ginobili numbers, right? Young Manu Ginobili playoff numbers. It's pretty close to that. But anyways, guys, you let me know what you think. But overall, man, I just don't see that being a reality for him. Just not in today's NBA, and with him lacking that same burst of athleticism he used to have. So, but anyways, I'll give it to you guys later. If you want to support the channel, as always, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description there. Yeah, so deuces.